Communication is the gateway to every opportunity in your life. It's not just about what you say, it's about how you say it, when you say it, and the energy behind your words. The ability to express yourself clearly, confidently, and with purpose can open doors, build relationships, and create influence that lasts. But here's the truth. Most people never take the time to truly learn how to communicate well. They talk, but they're not heard. They speak, but they don't connect. Whether you want to excel in your career, strengthen your relationships, lead others, or simply feel more understood, communication is the skill that ties it all together. And the best part? It's a skill. That means it can be learned, practiced, and mastered. Today, I'm going to show you how to improve your communication skills step by step. You'll learn how to listen deeply, speak with power, and use your body language, tone, and words to leave a lasting impression. We're going to break down what truly great communicators do and how you can become one of them. You don't need to be the loudest in the room to be the most respected. You just need the right tools, the right mindset, and the discipline to grow. Stay with me for the next few minutes as I guide you through 10 powerful lessons that will transform how you connect with people forever. Let's dive in. Number 1, master the art of listening. The greatest communicators in the world all have one thing in common. They're great listeners. Not passive listeners. Not the kind who just wait for their turn to talk, but the kind who are fully present, fully locked in, giving the other person the feeling that their words matter. That's where real connection begins. Listening is not a weakness. It's not silence out of fear. It's a powerful form of attention. When you listen deeply, you gain information others miss. You hear the emotions beneath the words. You begin to understand not just what someone is saying, but why they're saying it. Most people listen to reply. But when you learn to listen to understand, your communication changes forever. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop assuming and start connecting. And people notice. They feel heard. They feel respected. And that changes how they respond to you. Great listeners maintain eye contact. They put away distractions. They ask thoughtful follow-up questions. And they give space, real space for others to speak. That space is rare. And when you give it, you earn trust in return. In conversations, remember this. The person who listens well often becomes the most influential person in the room. Not because they said the most, but because they understood the most. So if you want to become a powerful communicator, don't just focus on what you say. Focus on how well you listen. That's the foundation. That's where it starts. Speak less. Hear more. And you'll soon realize that mastering the art of listening is the first step to mastering your voice. Number 2, speak with clarity and confidence. When you speak, do people lean in or do they drift away? That difference comes down to clarity and confidence. Most people don't realize how much power is lost in hesitation, rambling, or over-explaining. They think more words equal more value, but the truth is, real impact comes from saying less and saying it well. Speaking clearly doesn't mean using big words or sounding fancy. It means getting to the point. It means removing the fluff and delivering your message in a way that's easy to understand. Clarity is kindness. When you make it easy for people to understand you, they respect your voice. They remember what you say, and they're more likely to act on it. But clarity alone isn't enough. You also need confidence. And confidence isn't about volume, it's about belief. Belief in what you're saying. Belief in your right to say it. When you speak with conviction, even simple words carry weight. People feel your certainty. They trust you more. That's the real magic of communication. When your voice and your message align with strength and purpose. So how do you build clarity and confidence? First, prepare your thoughts. Know what you want to say before you say it. Second, slow down. Nervous speakers rush. Confident ones pause. They let their words land. Third, eliminate filler words. Like these dilute your message and make you sound unsure. Cut them out and replace them with pauses. Silence isn't awkward, it's powerful. Next, speak from your core. Don't try to sound like someone else. People respond best to authenticity. Your voice doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be real. Own your tone, own your pace, own your message. And remember, confidence isn't something you wait for, it's something you generate. The more you practice, the more you speak up, the more your confidence grows. You build it like a muscle. Every time you choose to speak with intention, you strengthen your communication. And little by little, people start to see you differently. They listen more closely. They take you more seriously. Why? Because you've earned that space, not by shouting louder, but by speaking smarter. So the next time you open your mouth to speak, ask yourself, is this clear? Is this confident? Am I making my point count? If not, slow down, reset, and speak again, this time with power. Because once you learn to speak clearly and confidently, you don't just talk, you lead. Number 3, use body language that speaks louder. Long before you say a single word, your body has already made the first impression. It tells the room who you are, how you feel, and whether your words are worth listening to. That's the unspoken truth of communication. Your body talks first, and it often talks louder than your voice. When someone walks into a room with their head held high, shoulders back, and eyes focused, everyone notices. That posture alone sends a message of presence and confidence. But when someone walks in with slouched shoulders, shifting eyes, or closed-off arms, it creates doubt, even if their words are strong. You see, your body can either reinforce your message or completely contradict it. If you want people to trust what you say, your nonverbal signals must align with your words. Eye contact is one of the most powerful tools. It shows attention, respect, and honesty. Look people in the eye, not in a way that's intimidating, but in a way that says, I'm here, I'm with you. Avoid darting eyes or looking at the floor. That shows uncertainty. Stand tall, move with intention, and own the space you occupy. You don't have to be aggressive, just grounded. Then there's your hands. They can emphasize your words or distract from them. Use gestures with purpose. Don't fidget or cross your arms unless you want to look closed off or nervous. Open gestures show confidence and openness. Even the way you sit matters. Leaning slightly forward shows engagement. Constantly checking your phone or looking away, that shows disinterest, and people feel it instantly. Facial expressions are another language. A calm, composed face in a tough conversation can bring stability. A smile in the right moment can ease tension and build warmth. Your face should reflect what you're saying. That's how people know you mean it. And finally, your energy. People don't just listen to your words, they feel your presence. Energy doesn't mean bouncing off the walls. It means being awake, alive, and connected to the moment. When you're fully engaged, body, mind, and spirit, people pay attention. They sense your authenticity, and they respond to it. So take a moment to become more aware of how you carry yourself. Start practicing it in daily conversations. Notice your posture, your hands, your eyes. Because once you master your body language, you'll discover something powerful. You don't need to say more. You just need to say it better and let your body speak for you. Number 4, build emotional intelligence. You can have the right words, perfect timing, and a confident tone. But if you don't understand emotions, yours and theirs, you'll keep hitting invisible walls in communication. Emotional intelligence is the silent force that makes your words land, your presence felt, and your message understood. Without it, communication becomes a transaction. With it, it becomes a connection. Emotional intelligence starts with self-awareness. You need to know what you're feeling and why you're feeling it before you open your mouth. Because the emotion behind your words always leaks through. If you're angry, even polite words come off sharp. If you're anxious, even facts sound uncertain. But when you're calm and centered, your communication reflects that inner stability, and others feel safe and respected around you. Then comes empathy, the ability to feel what the other person might be experiencing. It's not about agreeing with them, it's about understanding them. When someone feels heard, they relax. Their guard lowers, they stop preparing their defense and start opening up. That's the power of emotional intelligence. It disarms resistance without force. Another key part of emotional intelligence is emotional regulation. That means being able to pause instead of reacting. It's staying composed in uncomfortable conversations, responding rather than snapping. The moment you control your emotional impulses, you gain the upper hand in communication. You listen better, you speak wiser, and people trust your judgment more. Emotionally intelligent people ask thoughtful questions. They don't dominate the conversation, they create space. They sense when someone's uncomfortable and adjust. They recognize when their words aren't landing and shift their approach. That sensitivity isn't weakness, it's strength, because it makes every conversation smoother, deeper, and more impactful. And here's the secret. Emotional intelligence isn't just for personal conversations. It's a superpower in business, in leadership, in sales, and in every form of influence. People don't just follow logic, they follow emotion. If you can navigate both, you become someone others want to listen to, work with, and follow. Start building emotional intelligence by reflecting after every conversation. What went well? What felt off? What could have been said differently? Over time, you begin to see patterns. You learn from your mistakes, and you grow into a communicator who doesn't just speak, you connect. So remember, communication is more than exchanging words. It's reading the room. It's feeling the moment. It's choosing your response with wisdom. When you build emotional intelligence, you don't just improve how you speak, you elevate how others feel in your presence. And that's what sets you apart. Number 5, remove filler words and weak language. You can have great ideas and good intentions, but if your speech is packed with fillers and soft phrases, your message loses strength before it even lands. Words like, like maybe. And I think creep into our speech when we're unsure, distracted, or trying to fill space. But here's the truth. Filler words don't fill. They leak, they water down your message, making you sound hesitant, unprepared, or lacking confidence. Imagine hearing someone say, I think, maybe we could probably try something like, versus hearing, let's try this approach. Which one gives you more certainty? Which one earns more respect? The second version. Not because it's louder or longer, but because it's clear and decisive. That's the power of eliminating weak language. It sharpens your message and strengthens how people perceive you. Now, this isn't about sounding robotic or rehearsed. It's about removing the unnecessary clutter that clouds your point. When you cut out the noise, people hear your message. And more importantly, they trust it. Trust grows when your words carry weight, not when they float in uncertainty. So how do you fix this? First, start by becoming aware. Record yourself speaking. Play it back. Notice how often you say, like or you know. Most people are shocked by what they hear, but that awareness is the beginning of change. Next, replace fillers with pauses. Silence is not your enemy. In fact, silence is a sign of confidence. It gives your listener space to absorb what you've just said. It gives you time to think clearly before your next point. Don't be afraid of a pause. Own it. Also, stop apologizing unnecessarily. So many people begin their thoughts with, sorry, this might sound stupid, or I'm not sure. But that kind of language tells people to ignore your words before they even hear them. Cut it, replace it with clarity. You don't need to apologize for speaking. You just need to speak with intention. Another habit to eliminate is upspeaking, ending statements like questions. We should launch this project. That rising tone at the end makes you sound unsure. Even when you're not. Practice ending your sentences with a tone of certainty. Own what you say. Improving your communication isn't just about what you add, it's about what you remove. When you eliminate weak, filler-heavy language, what's left is your real voice, clear, grounded, and strong. And when that voice comes through, people listen differently. They take you seriously, they remember your words, and they begin to see you as someone worth following. So from now on, speak with intention. Cut the fluff, ditch the doubt, and watch how powerful your words become when every one of them matters. Number 6, adapt to your audience. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they communicate is speaking the same way to everyone. But great communicators know what works in one room might fall flat in another. Your message isn't just about what you say, it's about how it lands. And that depends on who's listening. If you want to be effective, you must learn to adapt to your audience. Think about it. Would you speak to a child the same way you'd speak to a business executive? Of course not. Would you explain your vision to your team the same way you would to a stranger? Probably not. The core message might stay the same, but the way you deliver it must shift to fit the room. That's how you earn attention. That's how you build trust. Adapting doesn't mean being fake. It means being smart. It means reading the room, recognizing who you're speaking to, and choosing the tone, language, and energy that speaks to them, not just to you. Some people respond to logic. Others respond to emotion. Some need details. Others need the big picture. Your job is to figure out what matters to them and speak in a way that makes it easy for them to hear you. And here's the key. This requires awareness. You've got to be present. You've got to watch how they react. Are they leaning in? Are they confused? Are they bored? Don't ignore those signals. Adjust, shift your language, reframe your point. Speak slower. Give an example. Ask a question. Communication is a two-way exchange, and the best communicators are constantly tuning in and responding to the feedback, even if it's silent. This is especially important when you're dealing with people from different backgrounds, professions, or age groups. What motivates one person might mean nothing to the next. What offends one might energize another. If you stay stuck in your way of speaking, you limit your reach. But when you become flexible, when you develop the ability to adjust on the fly, you become a communicator who connects with anyone, anywhere. Practice this everywhere. Speak differently to your boss than you do to your friend. Notice the tone you use with someone older versus someone younger. Listen before you speak, so you can shape your message with precision. When people feel like you get them, they listen, they open up, they engage. That's not an accident. It's a skill. So don't just aim to speak clearly, aim to speak wisely. Tailor your message to the moment and to the person in front of you. That's how communication becomes not just effective, but powerful. Number 7. Develop a powerful voice. Your voice is more than just sound. It's presence. It's identity. It's energy. When you speak, your voice tells the world who you are, long before they understand what you're saying. It's not just about the words. It's about how those words are delivered. A powerful voice can captivate a room, command respect, and inspire action. And the good news? You don't need to be born with it. You can build it. Most people never think about their voice. They focus on their content, but forget that delivery is half the message. You might have the most brilliant insight in the world, but if it's delivered in a flat, shaky, or rushed voice, it loses its impact. On the other hand, a well-timed pause, a confident tone, or a subtle shift in volume can transform an ordinary message into something unforgettable. So what does a powerful voice sound like? It's calm, but certain. It's strong, but not forced. It flows with rhythm and purpose. It knows when to slow down, when to speed up, and when to stop completely. Silence used intentionally is one of the most underrated tools in communication. A well-placed pause creates tension. It allows your words to sink in. It makes people lean in, wanting more. Tone is another major key. It expresses emotion, intention, and emphasis. A warm tone makes people feel safe. A serious tone demands attention. A passionate tone fuels inspiration. Learn to match your tone with your message. Don't say something important in a casual, rushed voice. Don't give praise with a flat delivery. Let people feel your message through how you say it. Pacing matters too. Nervous speakers tend to rush, but confidence lives in control. Slow down. Let each sentence breathe. Let your listener catch up. A steady pace tells people you're in charge, not just of your words, but of the moment. Then there's volume. Speak too softly, and you disappear. Speak too loudly, and you overwhelm. But speak with intentional variation, raising your voice to emphasize a key point, lowering it to draw people in, and you create a rhythm that keeps attention locked. And don't forget articulation. Mumbling or slurring words weakens your presence. Practice speaking clearly. Open your mouth. Hit your consonants. Let your vowels carry. The clearer your speech, the more seriously you're taken. Your voice is a tool, and like any tool, it sharpens with use. Record yourself. Listen back. Adjust. Improve. Over time, you'll build a voice that carries not just sound, but strength, clarity, and purpose. Because in the end, communication isn't just about being heard. It's about being felt. And a powerful voice doesn't just say the words. It makes the words live. Number 8. Tell stories that stick. Facts tell. Stories sell. You can throw out statistics, data, and logic all day, but people won't remember most of it. What they remember is the story, the struggle, the breakthrough, the emotion. Stories are how human beings are wired to understand the world. They're how we connect, learn, and pass on ideas that last. If you want to be a powerful communicator, you need to become a powerful storyteller. Now, that doesn't mean you need to be dramatic or overly polished. It simply means learning to package your message in a way that people feel, not just hear. Because people rarely move based on facts alone. They move when something touches their heart, and nothing does that better than a story. Think back to a speaker or a leader who left a lasting impression on you. Chances are they told a story that made you see yourself in the message. That's what great stories do. They're not about showing off. They're about showing people what's possible for them. Start small. You don't need a life-altering tale to tell a good story. A simple experience, a challenge you overcame, a moment you learned something important. These are gold. What matters is that it's real, it's relatable, and it leads to a point. Every story should have a structure, setup, struggle, and solution. That's the flow. That's what keeps people engaged. And timing matters. You don't need to tell long stories. In fact, short, sharp stories often work better. You drop the story in, make the point, and move on. That rhythm keeps your message alive and your audience leaning forward. Use vivid details, not to overwhelm, but to paint a picture. The more people can see what you saw and feel what you felt, the more they connect. Describe the room, the emotions, the stakes, but keep it focused. Don't lose your listener in unnecessary tangents. The story serves the message, not the other way around. Also, make your stories honest. People can spot fake or exaggerated stories from a mile away. You don't need to impress people, you need to reach them. And nothing reaches people more than authenticity. When you share real moments, failures, lessons, turning points, you become relatable. And when people relate to you, they trust you. When they trust you, they listen. So start collecting your stories. Notice the moments in your life that taught you something. Practice telling them, refine them, and use them. Not to talk about yourself, but to deliver something valuable to others. Because in the end, people won't always remember what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. And stories, real, honest, meaningful stories, are how you make your message unforgettable. Number 9, handle conflict with grace. Anyone can communicate when things are easy, but real communication skills are revealed in moments of tension. When emotions run high, when opinions clash, when the stakes feel personal. That's when most people either shut down, blow up, or say something they regret. But if you want to be a strong communicator, you need to learn how to handle conflict, not with aggression or avoidance, but with calm, clarity, and grace. Conflict doesn't have to mean combat. It can actually be a bridge. When handled well, it leads to understanding, growth, and stronger relationships. But it all depends on how you show up in that moment. Do you react, or do you respond? Do you try to win the argument, or do you try to understand the other side? The first rule in handling conflict is this: stay grounded. When you let your emotions take the wheel, logic flies out the window. You might say something sharp. You might raise your voice. And once it's out, you can't take it back. So before you speak, breathe, center yourself. Remind yourself that your goal is not to win, but to resolve. Your tone, your posture, your energy, these speak louder than your words in a heated moment. Next, listen. Really listen. Don't just wait for your turn to talk. Try to understand where the other person is coming from. Ask questions. Clarify. Even if you don't agree, the fact that you took the time to understand them shifts the energy. It creates space for dialogue instead of debate. Then, speak with clarity and calm. State your thoughts honestly, but respectfully. Avoid blame. Use phrases like, "What I'm feeling is," or "What I need is," rather than pointing fingers. When you focus on expressing instead of accusing, you invite cooperation instead of defensiveness. And if the conversation gets too heated, it's okay to step away and revisit it later. Sometimes space is what both sides need to cool down and come back with a clearer head. Taking a break isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Also understand that not every disagreement needs to be won. Sometimes maturity means letting go of the need to be right in favor of preserving the relationship. You don't lose by doing that. You lead. Because people remember how you made them feel during hard moments. If you can stay composed and respectful under pressure, your credibility rises. Handling conflict with grace is a rare skill. Most people avoid it or mishandle it. But when you master it, you become someone others look up to in times of difficulty. You become the person people want in the room when things get tough. Not because you're loud, but because you're level-headed. So the next time tension arises, don't fear it. See it as a chance to rise, a chance to lead through calm, a chance to communicate with power, even in the storm. Number 10, practice, reflect, and grow. No one becomes a great communicator overnight. It's not about talent, it's about repetition. It's about paying attention to your interactions, learning from them, and getting a little better every single day. Communication isn't a gift you're born with, it's a skill you build. And like any skill, it sharpens through practice, reflection, and a commitment to grow. You don't need a stage to practice communication. Every conversation is your training ground. Every meeting, every phone call, Every moment where you speak or listen is a chance to improve. Start noticing how people respond to your words. Watch their body language. Pay attention to your own tone and pacing. Did you speak too fast? Did you listen deeply? Were your words clear, or did you ramble? These small observations create massive improvements over time. After important conversations, take a moment to reflect. What went well? What could have been better? Did you stay calm? Did you connect? Did you say what you truly meant? Most people don't do this. They move from one moment to the next without review. But real growth lives in reflection. When you evaluate your communication with honesty, you start to recognize patterns. And once you see the patterns, you can change them. Another powerful tool is feedback. Ask people you trust how you come across. You might be surprised. Maybe you interrupt without realizing. Maybe your voice trails off when you speak about something important. These blind spots can only be fixed when you're open enough to see them and humble enough to ask. Don't just practice speaking. Practice listening. Practice being present. Practice pausing. Practice using your voice with control. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Over time, you'll notice conversations become easier. People respond better. You express yourself more naturally and powerfully. And with each small win, your confidence grows. Also, challenge yourself. Speak up in situations where you'd normally stay quiet. Volunteer to lead a discussion. Introduce yourself with more energy. Tell a story instead of keeping it to yourself. Step by step, you expand your comfort zone. And that's where transformation happens. Not in theory, but in action. You've now learned techniques: listening, body language, voice control, storytelling, emotional intelligence. But none of it matters without practice. This is your moment to apply it. Not once, not twice, but daily. Because the person who communicates well has more influence, more opportunities, and stronger relationships. So make this your commitment to keep growing, to keep learning, to keep showing up a little better than you were yesterday. Because great communicators aren't born, they're made through consistent effort, honest reflection, and a desire to connect on a deeper level. Keep building, keep practicing, and you'll find that your words not only carry meaning, but power. Everything in your life is touched by your ability to communicate. Your relationships, your career, your confidence, your ability to lead, all of it rises or falls with how well you express yourself. And the truth is, most people never realize just how much power they leave on the table, simply because they haven't mastered this one skill. They talk, but they're not heard. They speak, but they don't connect. And that's where the gap lives, between what they mean and what others receive. But you've just walked through 10 lessons that can close that gap. You've learned how listening creates trust, how clarity builds confidence, and how your body language speaks before you do. You've seen how emotional intelligence shapes connection, how filler words weaken your message, and how adapting to your audience earns attention. You've unlocked the power of your voice, the impact of storytelling, the strength in handling conflict with grace, and the importance of practicing every single day. These aren't just tips, they're tools. And if you use them, your life will change. You'll lead better meetings. You'll have deeper conversations. You'll make stronger impressions. And more importantly, you'll build relationships that are real, resilient, and full of respect. But remember, this is not the finish line. This is the launch point. Communication is not a one-time achievement. It's a lifelong craft, one that rewards you more the more you practice it. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be intentional. Every time you pause to listen instead of interrupt, every time you choose clarity over rambling, every time you stay calm instead of snapping, you are building a voice the world will respect. So take what you've learned here and apply it. In your home, in your workplace, with your friends, with strangers. Speak like your words matter, because they do. Communicate like someone who values connection, because it's rare. And carry yourself with the kind of confidence that doesn't shout, but stands tall in silence. The world doesn't just need louder voices, it needs better ones. It needs people who speak with purpose, listen with heart, and connect with intention. Be that person, and watch what happens. Your voice is your power. Use it well.